and I asked Oksana to share her tips on the exam. So
Yes.
over to you, Oksana.
Yep. One moment, I will share my screen. Just please let me know if you can see it.
We can see it. Thank you.
Yep. So hi everyone, I am Oksana. As Lalita said, I recently passed the exam, and here I would like to provide you some tips. It would not be practical tips how to pass the exam, what the question was, the answer, no, just some tips I noted, and I wish I knew it before, and maybe it will help you to prepare, not to get stressed, and just simple decks for the couple of slides. Tips before the exam day. Please do your all system updates, including optional updates as well. And do not use working laptop. Basically, this information you can see in the requirements of IIBA, but just to flag to you, you need to have admin control. And I know for the working laptops, usually users just don't have it. What problem I had, my camera was not found and I didn't know what to do. So I called to my friend, he advised me to update optional 2 because I did all these updates before. I didn't know I need to do that optional because there's no button kind of call to someone or chant to someone before you join the exam. So this problem happened to me before I even signed it in. And before even exam day, you can do some system checks before, but it's not the same test that you can do when you just join the exam. And also, I would suggest to delete all restricted application in advance. You will see the list when you run that check, because it will save you time in case you need just to fix any other issue, and do not overcomplicate. And next point, just I think Lalita will share the articles I found on IIBA article. There is information with the most common mistakes, why people fail that exam. I think it would be useful to read and don't repeat these mistakes. Next, give me 1 second. I could not. 1 second, sorry, I just could not move to another slide for some reason.
It's okay.
It would be easier. So here, next slide, I prepared, exam CCBA or CBAP. It's not something about memorization, right? You could not even memorize 500 pages book, but these techniques and these tasks I collected together. So I personally think it would be a really huge benefit to memorize them and to understand and not to mess up these answers between each other. For example, in prototyping, there is different method approaches, example, and let's say question and answer can be quite similar, and you need to distinguish between these three. The same with estimation, just to know all methods, approach, prioritization approaches, risk analysis and management technique, and do not mess it up with the task assess risk in knowledge area 6.3. Financial analysis, it's really important to know formula. There would be calculations, some arithmetic calculation, or calculate, let's say, some of the financial measurements as well, and non-functional requirements. Of course, we probably would not remember everything, but the most popular categories I would remember in order to keep an eye on the wrong answer. Regarding task, it is task trace requirements. You need to know relationship. And next point, for define requirements architecture, there are also some kind of element relate and verify requirements relationship. Do not mess it up. These two kind of relationship, they are a little bit similar but not the same. And when I even passed the watermark simulation, I always on the beginning messed it up and confused what kind of relationship, but afterwards I said to myself, oh, it's useful to remember, because for some reason in watermark there are lots of questions like that. Specify model requirements. There is a couple of model requirements formats, and please do not mess it up with the modeling technique. So if question asks what the modeling format would be, for example, and technique doesn't fit there, because these formats are grouped into, they are grouped, right? And it is not the same as technique. Then assess risk, just to understand what difference between assess risk tolerance, and technique risk analysis and management. Of course, you need to understand validate requirements and verify requirements, difference between, and information management approach, requirements, attributes. Here I added just not just to caveat, I do not suggest not to memorize everything else or something you may think it is important for you. This is just based on my personal experience. Then tips on the exam day. There is opportunity to connect 30 minutes before the exam. You could not connect earlier, and do please it sharp, because again, what I said in the previous slides, you will have chance to fix all your errors and do not get stressed. If system error happened, so what I did, I checked the permission if my bridge software has access to camera and microphone, and then I rebooted a laptop and did all these updates for the system. It took like 20 minutes, but I think they allow you to connect within the 13 minutes of your exam start time. And if you get stressed, and I hope you wouldn't, but in case you did, you can do just deep inhales, exhales. So I use this technique for myself. I do not suggest anything else, because, you know, when you pass exam online, which I did, you're restricted to move. You could not open your lips. You could not talk out loud, right? So this is only one technique I found useful for myself and to meet requirements of the basically IIBA. And then the last tips on the passing the exam. So what I noticed almost in the end, but I had chance to correct it when you change the answer. So for example, you go from answer 1 to 2, and then you go to click on the previous, return to the question 1, right? You need to, if you change that answer, you need to click on the button answer in the interface, because if you don't, I think it just does not override the selection. It is what I noticed. I had chance to review it once again, because I finished quite earlier. If you're not sure, you can do a note. It is allowed to bring with you a piece of paper. You can type, for example, number of questions you're not sure, or better to just flag it. Do not rely on your memory, because you could not remember everything, right? There are 120 questions. I also thought I will remember what I don't know, but it doesn't work. You need to flag it and move on. Just do not stop on this question too much. To manage your time effectively, try to pass 40 questions per hour. So then you will have 30 minutes to review what you're not sure or flagged, or just to reread everything else. Then try to detect whether it is a knowledge area, task, and element maybe, or it is technique in the questions. So if it is possible to detect, it would be easier, because you will know what is knowledge area, what is task, what is technique, what is element, and you will eliminate some invented answer. And one more, avoid to definitive answer, like go to PM and PM will decide, PM will solve that problem. So something kind of like this, right? Of course, I would not say what exactly there is answer or question because I don't remember anything, but two definitive answers just doesn't work. So that's it. Maybe you have any questions?
You guys have any question to ask to Oksana?
Oksana, with the changes that you had to make to your machine and the concern there, sounds like it might have been easier to go for me whenever I do it to go to a proctored location and let them be responsible for all that. Would you think that's true?
You mean to change the selection and click answer button, this
Yeah.
one first?
No. At the very beginning, the system
Giving,
updates and the
I
camera
think,
not
yeah, Tia is
updating.
asking giving the exam from a proctor selected location rather than from home.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't know that, for example, I'm based in Dublin. I didn't know there is a center in Dublin. And when I found out, it was quite late and there was no date I wanted. So yeah, I took the online exam.
Okay, so the proctored location, they take responsibility for all of that. They also take responsibility for not having things in your background that have words on them or having to show the environment. So you eliminate all of those concerns. I'm so glad that you were able to manage that. Good job.
Yep.
Now, I have a question. You mentioned that on financial analysis technique, we do get the actually the numbers and we have to figure out some of the calculations. Were they long
Yep.
calculations or were they simple enough?
They, I would say they are quite simple, but there are calculator in the interface, so you don't need to do it in, you know, in your memory or just write down. Personally, what I did for some formula for me was easier to write in the paper and then to just calculate in the calculator. And also some of them are logically kind of arithmetic. You know, you just need to figure out what you need to do. And of course, you need to check on the 4 answers and select your result between these. For example, I calculated something, I see no result, and I'm thinking next, until I get some quite similar result. And of course, for example, you can round, don't expect like few decimal places there. I think rounding is okay, but you need to get some quite similar to your answers result.
Okay. Thank you. James, you had your hands up. Do you have any question?
No, it wasn't a question. It was just congratulations to Oksana. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Michael, shoot. What is your question?
Yeah, hi. So I was gonna ask, is the question or are the questions structured? Say, for instance, are there section according to the knowledge area, or you just have everything mixed? You have to figure out what knowledge area you're answering.
No, they are mixed. And first, maybe 40 and something question their case study, and the rest is more kind of scenario based. But they would not be structured because it would be much easier when you know, for example, that this is knowledge area 1, this is 2. No, unfortunately, it doesn't work. Maybe there is some logic hidden, but I didn't figure out.
Oksana, how many scenario-based questions were there? Was it like, how long were the scenarios? And then how many scenario-based questions were there for each scenario?
I would say about 40 this case study. So you have case study and you have a different scenario for that case study, right? For example, 3 or 4 scenario, and the rest for me was all scenario based.
Okay, and were the scenarios about a page long?
Honestly, I don't know if it is wrong approach or not. I would not suggest it, but I read straight the answer and then I was looking in the question appropriate answer. I found it easier. I don't know. I could not suggest it honestly, right? Because maybe for someone will work differently. But I finished 1 hour earlier, and I did all question back, and I changed selection of some of them.
Very nice.
Yes.
I was stressed that I would not have time. Yeah, and I wanted to do it earlier.
Great.
Deborah, what is
Okay.
your question?
It's actually, I wanted to ask, and you kind of answered it, the case-based questions. I kind of want to understand if you just read the last paragraph and then the questions, like that was going to be that's going to be my approach.
No,
Instead of reading
not paragraph. No, so I read the question,
Yep.
and then I was trying to find the answer in the text based
Okay.
on the question, because I found it quite hard to read all case study. For example, if I couldn't find the answer right, I start reading it from the top to bottom, right? Because sometimes it is like you don't know where the answer is. If I see,
Right.
for example, some table with the figures, I went straight to that table and try to find some figures there if it is some formula, right? Because I don't need all this text to calculate some, I don't know, let's say return on investment or something else.
Okay.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, it is. It's like lots of text is actually to confuse us.
Yeah, but question are really really good structured rather than watermark on the watermark.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I could understand the question from first or second time of reading, right? But English is not my native language, right? Maybe for them, this one natives maybe would be much easier, right? But I always struggle with watermark questions. For this case, no, they are really well structured, I would say.
Good. We've been
No,
saying that watermark
yeah,
is harder, so it's good
Yeah.
to know that.
yeah, it's good to know that that we are on the right track.
Yeah.
Any more
Regarding-
questions, guys?
Oh, yeah, real quick. Regarding the questions, like how you have the 4 options, did you find 2 of them to be really ridiculous so you could rule them out like we've been doing with watermark? Or were they all kind of good answers?
I would say, in my opinion, again, but I can be wrong, they are quite good answers. Yeah, just
Oh,
maybe
awesome.
this 0.5, if you see some really too definitive, they are not good option. But in the rest cases, they're quite good. And I noticed maybe not like invented answers in the watermark, but I passed so many watermark simulations. I signed up for the months, right? So I already understand how to detect the wrong answer. It was kind of experience, I would say.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions for her? Okay, I'll take it as a no. Thank you so much, Oksana. And the slides you have shared, I think, are the same ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be sharing the slides which Oksana shared with all of you, and recording will be available on our YouTube channel anyway. Okay.
Thanks everyone for attention, and I wish you luck, and I really encourage you to take that exam by the end of the year or as soon as possible.
Yay! Let's do it. Thank you so much, Oksana. And many congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations, Oksana. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. So without this group, I think my progress would be so low or slow, because I found this group really nice, and I started progressing much better with the study group.
Good. I'm
Nice
glad
to
we've
hear
been-
these words. Okay, let's dive into our practice mode now. Okay, we are doing underlying competencies today. We may not be able to do complete exam, but let's try.
Right.
Okay, first question. Sathi is a business analyst working for a large telecommunication company in India. She has engaged in a new business process transformation project. She has captured the requirements for a new system to be implemented. Her key stakeholder is Rajan. When she reviewed the requirements with him, she sensed that Raj was not satisfied with the current list of requirements. Rajan has mentioned that some of the requirements listed will not meet the needs of his department. Those requirements came from Rajan's manager. What should Sati do in this situation? Sati should ask Steve to talk to his boss, resolve the conflict, and finalize what the requirements should be. Sati must find a way to resolve this conflict either by facilitating a formal meeting between Rajan and his manager or through self research or by applying other methods of collaboration to finalize requirements. Sati's hands are tied and she has not much to say here. After all, Rajan will understand that his boss's requirements will always get more weightage. Sati must escalate this conflict with requirements to the project manager. What do you think is the answer?
I would say B.
Why B, Deborah?
I think anytime there's a conflict, the way the BABOK does it, kind of, you want to meet and work with the stakeholders before you escalate it.
Yep. Fair point. I can see 3 more Bs on the chat as well. Let's check this one. This is the right answer. Great. Which of the following are examples of office productivity tools and technology? Word processing, spreadsheets, modeling, and diagramming tools. Word processing, spreadsheets, and issue tracking tools. Word processing, spreadsheets, and requirements management. Word processing, spreadsheets, and presentation software.
They all look good. I don't know.
I think all options are same apart from the last bit on these options.
So I was trying to think. I don't, like I said, I don't know. They all seem good. I can't tell the difference.
We've got 2 Ds and 1 B. We've got 3 Ds.
So I'll check D then.
Hmm.
D is the right one.
It's the presentation software.
Yeah, it's
Let's
the
check
presentation.
B and
It's
see
M.
why it's not the right answer, please.
Yeah, let's see B. Issue tracking tools are listed under business analysis tools and technology. This is office productivity.
Right.
And C, you want to
Oh.
check me? Okay, let's check C.
Probably.
Requirements management is not a tool or technology.
Oh,
I think it's a task.
yeah.
Okay, so we were right.
That makes
Let's-
sense.
A business analyst must be effective in generating alternative solutions that solve the business need or problem. Which of the following underlying competencies would be helpful in that endeavor? Creative thinking, system thinking, decision making, brainstorming.
I want to point out that one of those is not an underlying competency. So we would eliminate that one.
Brainstorming is not underlying competency, it is a technique.
Right.
So we are remaining with 3.
We've got A's overwhelmingly.
Okay. Let's check A then. A is
And
the
that-
right answer. Good going, guys. Wow. Julie is a business analyst and has just received her performance appraisal. Her manager praised her for the confidence her stakeholders have in the process she uses for helping them select correct solutions on her projects. What competency is Julie being praised for? Effectiveness of Julie's decision-making abilities. Stakeholders include the BA in the decision process. Effectiveness of Julie's problem-solving abilities. Effectiveness of Julie's creative thinking abilities. What do you think?
We've got 2 C's.
I would say C too.
Okay. Let's check it out. Woohoo! We are on a roll today. Wow, I like it. Which of the following include categories of underlying competencies described in BABOK? Tools and technology, communication skills, system analysis, interaction skills, communication skills, business knowledge, communication skills, retrospective skills, communication skills, interaction skills, analysis skills.
I want to point out it says include, so it means it's not an exhaustive list, it's a partial list.
It's a partial list.
We've got 2 C's and a
Okay.
D.
2 C's and 1 D. So let's check C then. Ooh, B is the right answer. The BABOK does not list retrospective skills as a category of underlying competencies. Okay. Which of the following underlying competencies are not listed under the analytical thinking and problem solving category? Creative thinking, logical thinking, problem solving, decision making.
We've got 2 D's.
Okay. Any more options?
Nope, 4 D's.
4 D's. Wow. I'll check it then. B is the right answer. D is saying this is an underlying competency in the analytical thinking and problem solving. So this is not the correct answer. Logical thinking we don't have. I think we have creative thinking, problem solving. There are, I think, 5 or 6 in this one. You overheard a work colleague that say something you believe to be unethical and clearly not in the best interest of the customer. You said nothing at the time. However, after thinking about it, you decide to take action. Which underlying competency would be most effective? Written communication, you send an email detailing your concern to project manager and copy her boss. Verbal communication, you call her and express your concerns. Verbal communication, you express your concern to the project manager. Written communication, you send her an email detailing your concerns. That's a tricky one. Most of the time we see it in our real life projects.
We've got a B and an A.
Okay.
And a D.
Okay. Who is going to give me a tiebreaker or C as option?
I say A only because it covers her and she lets everyone know, but that's not something I would do.
Okay, so I have 2 A's. Let's check it out.
Oh, my bad.
It's B.
Verbal.
Call her
That's
and
what I would
express.
do. I should have gone with that. Yeah.
Okay, it is better to express your concerns to her first.
Okay.
In young Sheldon's language, don't be a tattler. Okay, which of the following are good example of interaction skills? Facilitation, negotiation, leadership, adaptability, teamwork. Facilitation, negotiation, leadership, influencing teamwork. Facilitation, verbal communication, leadership, influencing teamwork. Facilitation, teaching, leadership, influencing, and listening. Interaction skills.
I feel like C because we just got told verbal communication is important, and I don't see verbal in the rest of them. But that's just my guess.
Okay, that's a good logic. Anyone else is saying anything else?
We've got several D's, a lot of D's. I think we should.
Yeah.
Then I'll check D. Correct answer is B. Listening is listed as type of communication skill, not interaction skill. I think for same reason B would be wrong, because verbal communication is also communication skill.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay. You once co-facilitated a requirements workshop with a BA who did not follow through on her commitments. Because you were in two different locations, you decided to set up a web meeting. As you were preparing for this session, you heard her mutter, "Customers never really know what they want. In the end, I'm going to give them what I think they need. This is a waste of time." This comment indicates that she is missing which of the following underlying competencies: facilitation skills, virtual team development skills, business principles, ethics. I think most of us say this. I mean, not 100%, but I always say this. Customers never really know what they want. So which underlying competencies we are seeing that I am missing or she is missing? I have A, D, C, two C's actually, 2D, 2C. Who is going to break the tie? Okay, C,
Mm-hmm.
3 C's. Let's check it. It's D, not C. Okay, why C is wrong? This competency does not apply to the scenario. And why D is correct is measures of effectiveness, ethical behavior include feedback from stakeholders confirming they feel decisions and actions are transparent and fair. Okay,
Yeah, makes sense.
makes sense, yeah. Your company has just purchased a COTS package. You were selected as business analyst for the project because your existing expertise and a need to implement within an aggressive timeline. This is an example of what underlying competency: personal accountability, solution knowledge, domain knowledge, organization, and time management.
I would say B, solution knowledge.
We've got answers all across the board here.
Okay, I'll check B. It is B. Wow.
Let's check and see why it's not D and C,
Okay,
please,
sure.
because we have a lot of people guessing that.
Okay, this competency may be helpful in meeting the aggressive timeline, but is not the most correct answer. Let's check why it is not C. Domain knowledge is not an underlying competency.
All right.
So it is C. It is B.
Mm-hmm.
Which of the following are effective measures of industry knowledge? Having knowledge of major competitors and partners, knowledge of and ability to use office productivity tools and technology prescribed by the organization, understanding of the terminology or jargon used in the organization, understanding of how additional capabilities that are present but not currently used can be deployed to provide value. The measures of industry knowledge.
We've got more A's than any other answer.
Okay. Let's check A. A is the right answer.
Industry knowledge is always looking out of the company.
Meaning competitors and your partners.
Yep.
Mary has completed her first business analysis package and has to choose the appropriate platform for communicating it to stakeholders. Which of the following is not a stated communication platform? Non-verbal methods, group collaboration, individual collaboration, verbal methods. Which one do you think, guys, is the answer?
C, individual.
Okay, I have C. 3 C votes and 1 D. I'll check C.
Oops.
It is D. This
And
is an
Oksana was
invented
right.
answer.
Oh, it's invented. I've never even heard of nonverbal. Well, I guess that would be just like emails, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if non-verbal is part of it, verbal must be part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. The greatest amount of information about a speaker's attitude and feelings is conveyed during a conversation through which of the following means: words and content, tone of voice, body language, emotions.
C
Well-
is the overwhelming answer.
Okay, I'll check C. Great. This is a general knowledge answer. For them it is, for us it's not. It could be emotions as well. It could be tone of voice as well.
Right, because we don't see the people anymore, but I guess this is based off when this was written.
Remember, we wrote this 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and we all went to the office. I mean, very few of us were virtual and remote then. So
That's true.
when we were talking about body language, we meant face-to-face language.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely needs revision, but not before all of us gives the exam.
Oh yeah, let's take the exam first.
Yeah.
Which of the following underlying competencies will help you understand how the people, processes, and technology written within an organization interact? System thinking, contextual thinking, business acumen, organization knowledge.
We have 3 Ds, 2 A's.
3 Ds. Okay, I'll
Oh, we
check.
have 3 A's. We've got a tie.
Okay, who is going to give me a tiebreaker?
I'm going to give you a tiebreaker. I think it's A.
Okay, I'll check A then. It is A. Okay, since we have D as well, let's check why D is not right answer. Organization knowledge provides an understanding of management structure and business architecture of an enterprise. Nice one, Thea. You are so ready for the exam.
I should be.
Eric is working on a major project with a looming deadline. The project will greatly benefit the bank he works for, especially if the team can finish it on time. In fact, Eric's whole team will receive a bonus if they can deliver before their deadline. Eric just discovered an important new feature that would significantly improve the solution, but would interfere with projected deadline if the team included it now. What should Eric do? Recommend a course of action and let the sponsor decide. Because the feature is important and of value to the company, work on it even if it means not receiving a team bonus. Bring the feature up with the project manager and let her decide. Ignore the requirement since Eric knows another project will be launched to address the new feature. It's a tricky one. We see it in
Yes.
everyday projects.
We have a whole bunch of A's. Let's test A.
Mhm.
Okay. A is right. Raising the issue and making recommendation are good behavior traits for a BA.
Yeah, it's again less definitive, you know. I just confirm this strategy.
Absolutely. It's like you already mentioned, Oksana, that if it is like too definitive, like consult with project manager, something like that, we must ignore those answers.
Yeah.
Nice. What is an effectiveness measure of a verbal communication skills? Use different methods to communicate information to be learned by stakeholders. Can communicate the criticality or urgency of a situation in a calm, rational manner. ensuring that participants in a discussion correctly understand another's positions, appropriate choice of words.
You've got 2 B's and 2 C's.
Okay. And a tiebreaker or a new option.
We have another C. Let's check C.
Okay.
And
Let's
we have
check
another B. We need to check them both.
B is the right answer. The effectiveness measure, according to the BABOK, is communicating and issues important points in a calm and rational manner. And C, this is a measure of negotiation and conflict resolution skills, not the verbal communication.
So C is familiar because it goes along with a different set of skills.
Yes, yes.
We read it, but it's not this one.
It's not this one. BA who relies solely on their technical knowledge might be least likely to utilize which of the following tools? Service-oriented architecture, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Mercury, rational rows. Wow, I feel like I am in Hogwarts now.
We've got 2 B's.
I
Let's
don't
test-
remember reading these terms in BABOK.
Some of them are in there. I don't think Mercury is.
Now, Mercury is definitely not there. Rational rows, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Okay, if we have a lot of B, then let's check B. B is the right answer. This tool helps BA understand motivational needs and has the least to do with technology, not specifically mentioned in the BABOK.
Okay.
See, I told you. I feel like I'm in Hogwarts.
I guess because I had the word needs in it, that was the only thing that kind of swayed me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam is using paraphrasing as a means of confirming elicitation results. How can paraphrasing can be achieved? Use of different communication medium, asking the sender to resend the message but using different terms, through active listening, repetition of exactly what was said.
We have C's. Lots and lots of C's.
Okay, I'll check C then. Active listening includes summarizing and repeating what was stated in different terms in order to ensure that both listener and the speaker have a common understanding. It is the description of paraphrasing. Kudos. What is considered the best way to teach something? Use hand-on exercises to reinforce new material. Use a mix of visual, auditory, and hands-on activities. Test the learner's knowledge. Use a formal presentation and exercises.
Let's test B.
Yeah, I'm so keen to test this one. Great. This ensures you reach all learning styles. Final question. The BA is responsible for developing the business case for a project that his firm is recommending in the insurance industry. Which of the following business knowledge competencies would Larry use? Solution knowledge, organizational knowledge, and financial analysis knowledge. Financial analysis knowledge, business acumen, industry knowledge. Organization knowledge, methodology knowledge and industry knowledge, business acumen, industry knowledge, and business case knowledge. Wow, so similar.
So you need to know which competencies are in the business knowledge competency.
It's
And
basically
then
some
which ones
competencies.
relate to the business case.
Yes.
We've got 2 A's and a C.
I will check A then if we have two A's. C is the right answer. Financial analysis is not listed as business knowledge competency. So it is C. Time to submit the exam. We are at 60%. Not too bad. Good.
This shows us where we have gaps, where we need to learn.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
underlying competencies is a very different chapter from everything else in the whole BABOK.
Absolutely. Yep.
So what are we
Okay.
going to do next week? I'm sorry, in 2 weeks. Are we going to
2
start
weeks
on
time.
techniques?
I think we must go to the technique session then.
Okay. And do you want to do practice test questions on techniques?
You guys suggest you want to do practice test questions on techniques in next to next week.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Okay. We'll do the
If you've been
techniques then.
studying the techniques as we've been going through, you know the purpose of the technique, you know when it's used, you know its pros and cons. If you haven't been, I encourage you to look at those things because that's what the practice test questions will be focused on. And that list that we saw earlier of the different types of things you need to know, you need to look at that because how you document certain processes, those things, it's going to be in the techniques questions. What's a case
Okay.
diagram? Things like that.
Absolutely. Okay. And next week, Thursday, we have our lean coffee session. Thea is going to present a wonderful technique to us. I will leave it to Thea to tell us a bit about it.
Sure. I'm going to talk about customizing your communication to someone based upon their personality. It's almost like speaking their language, but you need to know what their language is. And I've got a lot of tips and tricks that help you figure out what their language is. And then as you go, maybe adjust the way you present your information to them to give them the information that's important to them. It helps them receive it better. It helps them understand you better. It helps y'all work together better. But if you don't have this information in mind, you just basically present your information, your communication in the way that you understand it. That's not how everyone else understands.
Yep.
So I'm going to talk about specifically the personality analysis called Myers-Briggs. There's a lot of different ones, but this is the one that I know very well, and I can give you some ideas about it. There are others that you can use instead, but this is the one that I can give you handles on. I'm also going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm going to talk about basic communication. I'm going to talk about appreciation, the 5 love languages of appreciation, because the number one reason people leave jobs is because they don't feel appreciated. And there's a really simple way to find out what people want. You ask them, if you do a great job, how would you like for me to demonstrate to you that I appreciate what you did? Just ask them, because the way they show appreciation and the way that they receive appreciation may be 2 totally different things. So I'm going to walk through that next week.
Cool. Sounds really cool. Thea, would we be also getting to know our personality styles?
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, I'm going to talk about the Myers-Briggs personality styles, but guys, there's 16 of those, and there's no way I can go deeply into any one of I'm going to give you some I have a handout that's going to give you some things to take back with you, but I'm going to just dive a little bit into each one of those. One of the most important things as a business analyst, there's 2 things. There is a personality style. They want all the details. They want the schedule. They want, everything in black and white. Then there's a whole another side of that same personality that they don't care about that. They just want a global, oh, we're going to get it done later. It's fine. If you give type A the same information you give type B, one of them is going to get very frustrated. They're going to not communicate with you so well. And then there's a whole different one, people that they want, if you give them a deadline, they will keep that deadline. They will be very, very specific on keeping that deadline. That's their personality. But then on the opposite side of that same scale, they don't like to keep deadlines. In fact, if you give them a deadline, it's more like a suggestion. And there's a very specific way to speak to them that gives them the information they need so that they understand why that deadline is important and how critical it is for the project that they keep that deadline. So knowing which one they're on tells you, do you need to go to that extra effort or not? So we'll talk about that as well.
Wow. I really look forward to that session. Okay, so I'll share the details, registration detail for that session on the email with you guys, along with the material and the slides which Oksana shared graciously with us. And I want to know if someone is actually planning or already taken the date for the exam, please let us know. We would love to hear your stories. Do let us know about that.
I tell you what, I will send you the link to be able to take the free Myers-Briggs personality type indicator test. I think it's 50 questions. And
Please do
this
that.
is not a super scientific thing. It's a just answer the questions. And that way, whenever you come to the meeting, you'll already know what your type indicator probably is. And it's going to give you ideas about how you can relate to other people who are different or the same.
Oh, sure. Thea, if you'll share that, I'll share that link with everyone.
I'll get it ready right now and send it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks a million.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
see you guys next week in our Lean Coffee session, and see you in 2 weeks for our technique session.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you so much. Bye-bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.